Did you develop some kind of approach to keep yourself in the, this shape of to be, especially when you play a lot in the orchestra, how to, to clear your senses and to get back to what you would like to, you know,
Mhm.
to emphasize as a soloist, and to have this kind of switch. And did you have
Well,
any approach to this?
you have to be completely schizophrenic in terms of sound. Yeah, if I play as a concertmaster, on one hand I have to lead, but at the same time I always have to play with the group. You know, if I play too soloistic, I'm going to stick out all the time. And as a soloist, of course, I need a certain core in the sound. And I always was very aware of, in an orchestra phase or when I had to then go to a solo phase, to do certain things to get back my focus and sound. And it's just, sorry, you know, the exercises she gave me, delay or martelé, whatever, you know, just to do these basics again. For the left hand, what really was important for me, never go into an orchestra rehearsal not warmed up, just to not to be injured, very simply. And I would practice these Mahler and Strauss things. I would really be able to play every note of these dreadful runs where normally you just, you know, take two handful and it's okay. Then it gets sloppy. But if you really practice the stuff, it actually developed my technique, because you have such weird, in Mahler symphonies and Strauss things, you have such weird things for the left hand. And so that kind of kept me in shape and awake and flexible, you know.
Yeah, it's important that you mention. I know some of the young musicians who were finally fortunate to win a position in the orchestra, and they were starting getting a little bit lazy in terms of the preparation for the rehearsal, and then immediately they had some issues with their hands, and they felt that they're in pain. So they learned hard way. It's important that you're mentioning this, that we have to warm up, not just to feel better, but it's important just to physically to be ready for the challenge, especially if you play in the orchestra and you have to sustain long hours of rehearsals. And
Exactly. And as a tutti player, you don't have the time to practice everything, you know, because you have so much stuff to do. And it's like a soccer player. If a soccer player goes on the field not warmed up or stretched, he's finished after 10 minutes. It's very simple,
yeah.
you know?
I wanted to ask you, because you have been teaching already for many years and in different schools. Now you teach in Berlin Hochschule, right?
Yeah.
So you work with many different level students, I'm sure. And what do you find is the most important quality one needs to possess or to develop in order to succeed, in order to become an advanced player? Because talent, of course, is important, but in terms of focus and try to develop some of the qualities, what do you think it's important?
Um, First of all, I think what you need for the job market today is much more flexibility than it was in my time. There was a clear separation. You go into orchestra, you become a quartet player, or you become a soloist. Today, you need to be everything. You need to be able to, you know, to play soloist. Need to be able to, let's say, lead a bigger orchestra or a chamber orchestra. You need to be able to do good chamber music. So you need to be able to do Baroque music, early classical, as well as modern. You know, these specialization fields are gone. You have to be able to do everything. That's, first of all, that changed a lot. So I try in my education, really give them every aspect. And okay, nobody knows where they will land at the end, but to show them every field, you know, that they know what's to be expected. And when you say talent, again, I remember talking to DeLay about talent, and she was, I think, very skeptical of the usual talent thing like, oh, it's in the blood or it's in the tradition. Or she just said, talent is good experience at the right time in the right way. Talking about, I mean, if we look at the big traditions, if we look at old Russia, it was the only way to get out of the ghetto, as of course being as a Jewish violinist, Then, so you had this huge wave of incredible players. Then you have, and still have, a very big Asian wave, which were all the immigrants that came to the States, which is and I remember talking to her about that, and she was very, so I think talent is, or let's say it's the talent for discipline. And I see with my kids, of course, they're talented, but the ones who go far are the ones who just keep going and keep going and keep going. Sorry, it sounds very moralistic somehow, but
No, I think you're absolutely right. It's
and
actually
the
what.
kids that no matter where they start, and that's also what triggers me as a teacher. If a student starts low, as long as he or she really develops and goes, it's the most wonderful thing, even if it starts on a low level.